Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Hope you guys are doing well. As you can see, Zeke is panting like it's 120 degrees, and meanwhile we have a massive snowstorm out west.
Another snowstorm, more storm watches and warnings, and I hope everybody's okay out there.
Yeah, so we're record-breaking snow in Wyoming and Denver. You got over 40 inches in some places. People saying they've never seen anything like it. We've heard that said a lot, haven't we? In like the last 3 years, going back to 2017, it seems it's been. Oh, we've never experienced anything like this.
Over and over and over, more records broken. Every single time we do a video, new records are broken, and I'm just curious, what's going to be the pinnacle? What is that going to look like?
Yeah, as we keep hearing something walking over there in the woods, but we can't see it. Could sense something.
I think it's a duck. I don't know, but I know our viewers have really sharp vision, and they will see it.
Yeah, maybe you guys will. Or maybe we'll get something else that's crazy and wild on this, as we seem to do so often. Boy, the video that we did before with that being, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Really wild stuff. And so many of you guys have filtered it, amplified it, blown it up, and sent us other copies of that. My laptop did start working now out of the blue after I did a banishing ritual over it several times, and it started up. This is a crazy world, guys. It really is much more like myths and legends time on Earth now. Or, like our buddy Joe said to me today, he said, we're living in the freaking apocalypse.
Yes, we are indeed. You just have to look around, look at the signs of the times, look at things, look at how they're going, and absorb that a little bit and just ponder it. Think about it. These are interesting times.
Cindy hasn't seen her first alligator yet. We're on the lookout. We'll see if we can spot one for her.
You guys will be the first to know. I'll just scream so loud, I'm sure you all will hear me.
Yeah, you'll hear back over in Nevada, I'm sure. So there was a 4.8 in Tokyo too that actually shook buildings, and our brother Mark J in Kansas felt a quake today. I think it was listed as a 3.2. There's been quite a few quakes in Kansas, as well as every day in Oklahoma.
There has, so that's been interesting too. I'm not so sure what makes things rattle out in Kansas because there's not a lot of those, gosh, what are they called again?
Fracking.
Yes, thanks.
Well, I mean, it's right next door to Oklahoma. Oklahoma's really
Ooh,
been
Sass.
fracked big time.
Sass, come here.
As Sassy is getting her 2 cents in.
Yes.
And there was a dust storm, a massive dust storm in Mongolia. And we actually had dust that reached Beijing from the storm as well. Crazy times everywhere we look on this globe. It's just wild, all the changes that are going on. And so many people have talked about the veil thinning as well. And there she is. There she is. The star of the show. Many people have talked about the veil thinning, and actually I was having a conversation with my friend Joe. You guys probably remember him. He's been on the show several times, Dr. Joe. And, it really is so much like that biblical, revelation where it says, woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil has come with great wrath, knowing he has but a short time. And so they are pulling out all the stops right now, as we had seen. And like we had talked about in that video, it was just bizarre because what were we talking about? I was talking about, and this video was the video originally that we were talking about seeing the TRB-3, the flying triangle, and it was right by a military base, and the thing banked and came and flew right alongside us. And we felt like it was scanning us. Cindy got that from the guides that it was scanning us. And just the knowledge that On that ship, well, Cindy feels that there were reptilians and humans working together on that ship. When that knowledge comes out, when that becomes known, and they're going to basically make them off to be good guys. And as we've said, they'll show what they're going to say is Pleiadians from the Galactic Federation, and they'll say that they are, but in reality, these will be the Nords that we're working with the Third Reich.
Hmm.
So this is the twist that's coming. We are. What can we say about this? I mean, it's the reality is starting to blow people's minds, but it's also waking people up to the fact, as we said, we've never been alone here. Never, never. There's been beings here before we were here.
I know, and right now is a time to help people understand that they're not alone, because when you start looking at the reality of things and you start understanding, wow, there's layers and layers and layers to this mystery called life, and there's other beings around me. There's elementals, there's discarnates, and they're around all the time. It's nice to be able to help people understand and move into that space of understanding and knowing, so we all can be comfortable with that. I don't even know if I like to call it a veil sometimes, because everything is there. Everything is there. It's just almost a matter of perspective, how you shift your perspective. And just the understanding and knowing is all we need to do. But helping people move to that in a safe way is important.
It sure is. And every time I go to do things with the videos, like I was looking at the videos that we uploaded recently, since I wasn't able to get into my computer, nor really Cindy into hers. And you can only do so much with the phones, as far as, editing and everything on YouTube. I noticed all the tags were out. There was no tags. They were marked to be monetized, but there was no ads in. The computer's supposed to auto-generate ads. Most of them had no ads in, but then one had like 10 ads in it. You know, it's so obvious how this is part of the program. This is all part of the program. It's just blatantly obvious who's under the control of who, you know? And when that hits you and you start to realize, wait a minute, hmm, you know, who does the government really work for? Who does, this corporation and that corporation really truly serve?
Hmm.
Because they do serve these particular entities and their wants, needs, and desires. And, again, if you go biblical with Satan ruling the earth, because there is an adversary to humanity that's ruling this planet, and these are all part of the tentacles of this beast.
Hmm. Oh my gosh, that's such a good way to put it. Tentacles of the beast. And where do we all fit in? How do we find freedom when we're all surrounded with all of these things that keep us under somebody's control or under somebody's thumb?
Yeah, there's another quote that says, men's hearts will fail them. And I could see it. Can you
Hmm.
imagine all of a sudden, being encountered by a 12-foot tall, like reptilian like being, humanoid slash T Rex type being, or a whole bunch of them that maybe have, armor on them and have laser weapons, or ships flying overhead that are doing things you cannot imagine in mass, like in huge, huge numbers. I could see humans, men's and women's hearts just failing them and just standing around with their jaws dropped open in total disbelief as to what they are witnessing.
Oh, definitely. That's why it's important to start waking up now, because you don't want to be one of those people that's in shock from what you finally realize. So it's a slow, steady realization of waking up. Once you get a taste of something and you know the truth about it, you go and you find out as much information as possible. You go down as many rabbit holes as possible. And it's all just for future knowing, future learning. And it's very important. It's important to your awakening journey.
It is like when our friend Nicole, who you guys know, hi Nicole, she took a whatchamacallit,
A global,
a
yeah,
screenshot,
screenshot.
and then she filtered it and amplified it, and you could see that this being in that video that we were talking about, where the goats got killed, it's really coming through a portal.
Hmm.
It's like there's this black hole that develops, and it comes out through it.
Hmm.
And others have mentioned, well, what's up with CERN? And then other people said, well, CERN was really taken offline by Pleiadians or Galactic Federation. I don't know about that. Do you get anything on that? If you ask the guides, is CERN operating, or has it been shut down by the good guys?
It hasn't been shut down completely. No, it's not shut down completely. It's still working at a certain capacity, but I would have to go into trance to find that.
Okay, but do you get the impression perhaps there's been some sort of deactivation or a limiting effect that's been put on it?
A manipulation, yeah. Hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, and there's more than one out there too. Just as the same with harp, the type of harp that angels don't play. There are other locations around the globe of those, uh, those frequency modifiers, and obviously the weather is artificially flavored, as we have been saying.
I don't know what else I like that. Artificially flavored. It's very, very true. We have to watch our vocabulary words because the AI is growing up, picking up on that too. So even if we spell things out, it's learning just like a child.
It is, it is. So it's just so wild too, because when we left the West, it felt like winter, and it still feels like winter in the West in Colorado right now. And then when you go into the Southeast, it feels like summer here. It was think about 85 degrees. It was absolutely beautiful. But that could change really quick too, with probably just a couple presses of certain buttons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty easy stuff that they do to manipulate things that we think are normal and natural. But no, 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 no. And it just goes back to who really, who does number two work for?
Exactly. And, part of the reason why we left when we did is because we were told by the guides that you have to leave. They said you really have to leave very soon. ASAP now is better, because they said a portal was opened, and there's a being out there that stepped through it that's here to harass us. And so, we did. We followed what they said. We trust in them. And I do feel, and I asked Cindy if she feels, that the thing that was caught on that video, in which, that's the one where we were talking about the TR3B, and we've done one since, showing some of the photos that Mark J got. And Mark, by the way, has had a lot of his photos too, published on Mr. MBB's. He's got quite the eye and quite the skill with cameras, and with also blowing things up and filtering them. So that thing that we saw come through is the thing that we feel that they told us about when we were over in Colorado, and that this being is. Cindy gets, it's kind of related to some Sasquatch, but it's not nice at all.
No, it's like a hybrid. It's something that really shouldn't be on the loose, but it is on the loose, and it can morph. It also has mind powers. It has powers, mind bending powers. It can manipulate, and it's just very, very nasty. And its goal and mission is to destroy by any means necessary.
Yeah, that's a scary thought. And these things are very, very real. There was like one or two uh, bots that came on to try to discredit the video, and you could tell they're bots. They're always kind of the same thing. When you go click on the YouTube channel, no subscribers, no content, no videos liked, nobody followed. So they're just AI bots that are stuck in there to try to get people to say, okay, I won't look at this, look at the comments. This is part of what they do, the system that they do. There was a comment that was made about dogmen, and dogmen being used to fight beasts or creatures like this.
Yes, and they will be used. They'll actually be woken, and these dogmen were created for nowish, a time around now, to help against the Draco. And they are big creatures, but they're here to assist us.
That's pretty wild because, we all know who man's best friend is, right? But it also goes into everything that we were talking about with how things are symbolized in the movies. And, when you look at like Underworld, it's vampires against werewolves. So there you go. The vampires, the elite, the aristocracy, the ruling class, the blue bloods, the ones with the cone heads.
Absolutely. And they tell us the truth right out there in the open.
And the werewolves are nothing but beasts, just
Hmm.
vile creatures. So they're representing humanity.
Yeah, that's pretty normal.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're trying to tell us in these movies. Interesting stuff. Well, guys, thanks for being part of the family. Make sure you are subscribed and have the bell clicked. We look forward to your comments and your experiences with all this, and thank you for your patience while we're out on the road, trying to stay safe and check out new places. And as always, also thanks for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Anybody that needs to make an appointment, it's EEARTS at Proton Mail or evolutionaryenergyarts at gmail.com. And we are pretty booked about 2 to 3 weeks out. Right now, we're still at the moment. We were working basically 5 days a week, seeing people, which was overwhelming us a little bit with everything else going on. So we're trying to cut it back to 4 days a week of seeing maybe 8 people. So we do keep busy, but we want to help as many people as we possibly can because that's part of our mission.
It is, and it's an important mission, and we want to reach as many people in a good time period too. So,
So, guys, God bless, stay safe, namaste.
namaste.